Okay, we're here at Harlingen High School South, and we're here today with our top 10 students that have graduated or will graduate next Saturday, May 28th, as our top 10 students. So what I want to do today is just have a conversation with our top 10 students at Harlingen High School South and to find out from you how and what we can do to be a better district with regards to meeting the needs of our students. So it's just a very informal discussion, and we'll begin with introductions. So we'll begin. Daniel, would you please begin what school you'll be attending, your name, and what you aspire to be 5 years from now?
My name is Daniel Garcia, and I'm going to be attending Texas A&M College Station, and I'm going to major in architecture.
Okay. My name is Ulises Fernandez. I plan to attend Texas A&M University in College Station, and I plan to be a psychologist.
My name is Kim Cruz, and I'm going to attend the University of California in Los Angeles, and I aspire to be an international lawyer.
I'm Zorana Yola. I will be attending the University of the Incarnate Word, and I aspire to be a physical therapist.
I'm Justin Cavazos. I'll be attending Stanford University in California, and I'm currently undecided as to a major.
I'm Danielle Doty, attending Baylor University, where I plan on majoring in fashion merchandising.
I'm Shane Carroll. I will be attending University of Texas at Austin and majoring in pharmacy.
I'm Ashley Winters, and I'll be attending Baylor University with a major in political science to hopefully become a lawyer.
I'm Jared Cavazos, and I'm going to be going to Stanford University with my brother. And 5 years from now, I'm hoping that maybe I'll be doing something in engineering or possibly music, whichever fits my life best.
I'm Horacio Zamora, and I'm going to be attending UT Austin to study pharmacy.
Very well. As you can see that all of you are highly motivated, and we have a great group of students here representing Harlingen High School South. And what I'd like to say is before we started, the camaraderie here this is a very tight-knit group, so continue on that path. It'll serve you well. My first question, and again, this is an informal discussion, is how do you feel about being a top 10 student, and what can you recommend to other students that might aspire, because this has been a fast 4 years, I would imagine. So anybody want to talk about that specifically? Not all at once.
It's a lot of hard work and effort. You know, a lot of kids come to school and, you know, they just want to get through with their 4 years and that's it. But, you know, I mean, we're here for a reason. We're here to get an education. So we shouldn't take these years for granted, and we should just do our best to pick up whatever we can and just learn as much as possible. I mean, it doesn't really matter if you make top 10% at that point, but it depends on what you get out of the education.
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, I kind of want to elaborate on that. I know a lot of students set their goals to be top 10% and top 10, but really it's what you get out of your 4 years here at Harlingen South. And I feel taking your AP courses and taking the highest that we have to offer is really what you want to strive to do. Yes, maybe you won't get that A that you've been striving to get, but that B is going to be better off for you in the long run. You'll be better prepared for your future career.
Great advice, great advice. Anybody else?
Yeah, I have to agree with both Jared and Ashley that a lot of the things that come from high school is like all stuff that you learn, especially challenging courses. Like that's the primary thing that most colleges are looking for. It's not all about the numbers. It's just to show that you've challenged yourself and you're ready for a challenge at the college level. And that's the thing that will probably help most students at the level of being top 10%.
Okay, what about students that are watching that are going to go from 8th grade to 9th grade in 3 months? So they will have started where you are ending right now. So with that being said, tell us about your journey. How was it a fast ride? Was it a slow ride? Was it fun? Just talk to us about your high school experience.
It was definitely a really fast journey. And when you're starting off in 9th grade, you can't put off grades and say, okay, I'll start trying later, because they add up. and old habits are hard to break, but you need to start doing your work on time, because I still have a big problem with procrastination, but I've worked on it throughout the years. And
way to put the pro in procrastinate.
It's helped, yes.
I know my experience from high school, I think the most important thing I learned was not to limit myself to what I can do, because you can get involved as many things as you want, and as long as you make the effort to be part of everything and do what you can do it, and don't let anyone tell you can't.
Also, I guess what I learned is you really have to be driven. You have to know what you want, what goals you want to accomplish. You could be up, you could have a test the next day and haven't studied, but you stay up till like 1 o'clock in the morning, study hard, you know you'll make a good grade, and you know you tried your hardest. So you just really have to be focused and driven.
Let's talk about teachers. Teachers have a big influence, obviously, in the lives of students. So at this time, is there a particular teacher that you'd say, you know what, it's because of this teacher, or as a result of this teacher, I have done very, very well? And you can start elementary, middle school, or even a high school teacher. So anyone want to comment about a specific teacher?
Well, I think it all started with me in middle school when I had my drama coach, Miss Lunsford, who I was obviously a perfectionist back then, and it was kind of hard for me to get on this path. And when I got broken of my perfectionist, I guess, that's what kind of led me to high school. Then I just want to say thank you probably to Miss Wilson, my English teacher right now, Miss Vaughn, my junior English teacher, Miss Cardenas, my sophomore English teacher, and my freshman English teacher, Miss Leggett, and most importantly, Mr. Conway. I'm not a biologist by any means. I hate science. I don't know what science. I'm just not very good in that field. But Mr. Conway has taught me I stress out a lot about everything, whether it be a tennis match or whether it be grades. He has broken me of, striving so hard. He's just let me accept that my best is good enough. And maybe it isn't, like I said, that high A, but he's taught me how to study and how to not stress so much. So I want to thank all of them.
I'll do one, I guess. I haven't spoken. I guess adding on to that list, I'd add Miss Moore onto there and Mr. Monsiváis. They've definitely challenged us, and I'm sure it'll help us out with college. So.
And like my sophomore year coming in, Mr. Keeler, the world history teacher, he's like that first teacher that gives you a whole lot of work. Like when you thought middle school is easy, freshman year is kind of easy, but then sophomore year it just hits you. And not only did it push me to strive to work harder, to do things with a better quality, but also with Mr. Keeler, he's been very supportive, like past sophomore year, helping with college and maybe like filling out a scholarship or two. And he's probably one of the best teachers here that I can say has got my back.
And it's easy to point out all these teachers in these academic subjects, but we can't ignore the people in our extracurriculars. Yeah. I mean, they all motivate us on a level that some people will find it hard to. And I think Mr. Hooper, our orchestra director, he does a very good job with what he does and does a very good job of motivating us. And he stresses a good work ethic, just as much as any other good teacher would.
I'd like to add on to that, not only orchestra and band and stuff, but also for me on track. My coach is Coach De La Rosa. My uncle, who also helps me hurdle, they really teach you how to stay focused, to keep going no matter how tired you are, which also leads into education. So just thanks to all the coaches out there.
I would also like to thank my teachers, Miss Wilson and Mr. Alvarez. They're very special teachers. When you first meet them in the first day of school, right off the bat, like when they introduce themselves, you can already feel that passion they have for teaching, and that just makes you so excited for the course and so excited for you to just engage on what they're about to teach you, and it will really make you be motivated into getting the good grades and striving for your best. And I think that's the best way for students to learn, is when you have teachers that actually really do care and really do have that passion for teaching. And on the extracurricular note, Coach Bennett, our cheerleading coach, she did a very brave thing this year. She took on the task of being the sponsor / coach of the Harlingen South varsity cheerleaders, and she did an amazing job this year. She's really turned the program around. So thank you, Coach Bennett, for all the hard work and effort you put into this year, and we'll miss you.
Stole our mic.
Many of you talked of your teachers and also your extracurriculars and being well-rounded, obviously academically and with clubs and activities. So that's a great inspiration for and a great motivating tool for our students that are coming up to say, wait, these students excelled in the classroom and they were also very active in the school. So my question now comes to the fact that in a week, or less than a week, we hope that the top 10 billboard, your faces will be plastered, and we're very proud of that, and I hope that you are as well, because it exemplifies the best we have to offer in the classroom. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about some adversity, where some of you may have thought, wait a minute, I know I'm on that billboard, that is me, but you take back, if you were to go back to a point in your life where you said, wait a minute, I've got to do things. This is an adverse situation, and I've got to adapt to that. Because adversity is really how one adapts and how one shifts or changes makes for an outcome that puts you on that top 10 billboard. So anybody want to talk about a situation where they, in their high school or elementary, made a change to say, wow, I didn't realize, and I've got to do this differently?
Oh, I guess it's my turn because I haven't spoken. Well, never in middle school or in my elementary school did I ever think I was going to be a part of the prestigious top 10 students. And I've always been involved in extracurricular activities. I'm in pageants all the time and cheerleading and dance like that. Out of school, that is my life as well. So really settling down, I guess my sophomore year, I really had to focus on academics, and I always thought it would come easy to me. I never really had a problem, but throughout my years in high school, I have definitely struggled within my classes, with tests, with a lot of stuff, but my teachers and my friends have definitely pushed me through a lot of different tasks that I've had to overcome, and I love every minute of it, and I couldn't imagine sitting here right now talking to you, so definitely throughout everything, I am very, very honored, and I guess just overcoming everything was awesome. I have 2 mics now. You want your mic back?
Like continuing with like classes and stuff, I think one big adversity or like challenge has been like just being in class with you guys. It's super challenging. It's super competitive. Like you want to see who's gonna get the higher grade or who's gonna be which number. I mean, I guess you just get really nervous. You're like, what if I don't make it? Because you work so hard to get there. But it's just, I guess that's one big challenge for me.
On that note, yes, it's so challenging, and I guess it's not necessarily an adversity, but I guess the realization on my part is that you're not the only smart person. You're not the only one that's going to work hard. You're not the only one that wants those high grades. You have 404 other seniors that want to be on that billboard, that want to be those top 10 students. And this year, I was really worried because being number 2, you know, you can easily lose your spot. And I know Justin was right on my tail, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, so I was always on my toes. And I guess that's what pushed me and motivated me to keep going and, you know, like, don't settle down and don't get so much into the senioritis deal. So that really pushed me, knowing that someone was on my tail trying to, like, you know, get me off of my pedestal. So that really drove me to strive for my best.
What's senioritis?
We'll talk about that in a minute.
With adversity, you know, adversity coming from, say, my sophomore year, I joined choir, and after that, going to my junior year, I was able to make the final round of all-state auditions, and I'd put in a lot of work into it, and what ended up happening was I ended up making the all-state choir. And it was a huge letdown. It was probably one of the experiences where I thought, you know, maybe, you know, I shouldn't be doing this. But then I had some uplifting words from friends and family saying, you know, that failures aren't what make the person, you know, it's how we should respond to them. And going from that, I can say that honestly, it shaped me into the person that I am today, and those failures have built me up to be more determined in not just as a musician, but also in schoolwork. You know, able to express yourself freely, emotionally, artistically, and academically is something that everyone can have. But you know, at that point, that's when I gained it. And I can honestly say that is probably one of the key reasons why I got into Stanford University. So.
Well, like, everyone here is super talented. Kim is like our senior class president. She's a cheerleader. These 2 brothers right here, freaking musical geniuses. And I think it's amazing that everyone does so much and still is able to have gone this far. So congrats to everyone.
Thank you.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about all the things that you've done. I mean, what do you want to share? I mean, we talked about extracurriculars in general, but what are some of the specific things that you say, I really think this is important and this is how it's helped me become who I am today? And one thing that I just wanted to take away, and I think it's important for the audience watching, is that what you said is very true. It's a very competitive group, very talented group. but to always keep the focus that if you don't continue, that you can slip in your rankings and some other things. So this group took that very, very much to heart, and as a result, we'll be gracing that billboard. So with that being said, very, very well. So let's talk about extracurriculars and what you were involved in, and also we started off kind of fast, but we can slow it down a little by letting us know your elementary school you attended and your middle school as well, because it is a part of who you are and why you're here today. So.
Okay, well, I actually attended a private school. Elementary year, I attended St. Anthony's Catholic School, and it was from kindergarten to 5th grade, and it was a good experience. It instilled in me a lot of self-discipline, a lot of just good morals, good ethics, and then after that, I continued on to Gutierrez Middle School. I was there for a year, and then, like a lot of people, Vela Middle School was built, and so I moved over to Vela, and I was there 7th and 8th grade year, and then after that I came to South. So.
And what extracurricular activities have you been involved in?
I've been involved in FFA, just all fall. Mostly in Mr. Stevens' shop, working on shop projects, welding, cutting, metal projects, stuff like that, and just that too. I mean. He usually relied on me for a lot of things, so it just instilled a lot of leadership qualities, good stuff like that.
Well, you come back when we build that new barn. Y'all were in that, well.
Yeah, that was shop.
The old shop.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Well, thanks for sharing that.
I also got something to say about extracurricular activities. I mean, I'm just going to throw that out there. I was in football all 4 years. I didn't do any extracurricular activities in middle school, or especially not elementary. and
what middle school and what elementary?
I went to Ben Milam Elementary, and then I went on to Coakley Middle School. But here in high school, football took up most of my time. I had to work out to get in shape. I had to go to practice, or I wouldn't play games. And sometimes it's kind of hard going to practice when you have a big project, you haven't worked on it, but you got to make sacrifices.
Right.
And one of my biggest sacrifices that a coach told me once is sometimes if you want to be successful, you have to sacrifice sleep. And that's a big one right there. While everyone else is asleep, I can get other stuff done. I can work out, I could go home, I could do my project. I might only get 2 or 3 hours of sleep at night, but I can make up for that later. And that way I stay on top of school and football. But it's not easy. But
I can sleep when I'm dead. I had no sleep Tuesday, Monday night.
Thanks for sharing.
I'll go on the extracurricular activities. I've been in tennis all 4 years, and so I mean, there would be times to where out of 2 weeks, you'd probably be at school for 3 days, and we'd be gone the rest of the time. So, you have a lot of makeup work and stuff. But I mean, if you just believe that you can all get it done, it really isn't that hard. Just good.
Now, tennis was your extracurricular focus, but what about elementary and middle school? What elementary did you attend and what middle school?
Oh well. I went to 5 different elementary schools.
You did?
Yes.
Each year. You want to talk about that?
Okay. First year, kindergarten and first grade, I went to Las Yescas Elementary. It's out there in Rio Hondo. Second year, La Relas Elementary. It's in Los Fresnos. Third year, Kenmont Montessori. That was a private school. It was in Brownsville. Fourth year, Villarreal, Olmito. Fifth year, I went blank. No, it was a school in Los Fresnos. Lopez Riggins, there you go. And my mom was a music teacher there. And then middle school, I went to Liberty Memorial. It's in Los Fresnos. And then I moved over here.
So then you have proven the point that it doesn't matter how often you move to a different school, you can still be successful in the top 10. Great point, great point. Resiliency, great life lesson.
I guess I can go.
Yes, ma'am.
I went to Treasure Hills Elementary and I went to Coakley Middle School. And my extracurricular activities, I've been a cheerleader for 5 years, my 8th grade year, so my senior year. And I've also been involved in a ton of clubs in THS, NHS, and all those good ones. But aside from school, I'm in dance 24/7. I was a competitive gymnast growing up my entire life till about 8th grade, where I started cheerleading. And then another thing I've started is pageantry, and I'm currently Miss Texas Teen USA. So being in that, I have missed.
That's a big honor. That's a big honor.
Being crowned that, I have had to miss school, and I've had to go to community service a lot. I've had to go to different events, and so missing school for that, I am so flustered and lost when I miss school. Like, I have to get my work done a week ahead of time, talk to my teachers. Like, my teachers tell me to calm down all of the time, because if I miss school, I feel like I will never get my work done. So I am the one that asks for the work like 5 days ahead of time, just so I'll have it turned in by the day that I'm not there. So with that, I know when it comes to everything outside of school, I always am the one that gets it done early, and I don't procrastinate. I'm like the one that doesn't. But that's what works for me, and that's where I found my little self. I don't know.
That's great.
Good.
Thank you.
Nobody else? Okay. You want to go?
Okay. For elementary, I actually attended Ed Downs Elementary in San Benito up until 4th grade, and afterwards I went to Stewart Place for my 5th grade year. Then, like Odie, I went to Gutierrez 6th grade and Bella 7th and 8th grade. And I've always been extremely involved in sports. In middle school, I played football, basketball, baseball, track. And in high school, I was in basketball, baseball, and track. And the hardest thing that I found was all my sports always seemed to conflict with one another, and finding the time to not only go to practices and games and track meets, and incorporating having to do my work and get ahead, and having to deal with coaches, constantly on you. And I think that what has just helped me is the lessons I've learned from sports, just to be determined and to never give up and keep going. And that's the kind of stuff that's helped me, I guess.
Well, Mr. Garcia also did not say or share with the group that he was also the lead actor in The Beauty and the Beast, so he was also a very pivotal part of the drama club as well.
Actually, when I went into theater, it was my sophomore year, and it was the one thing I did not want to be a part of. I was forced to be in it, and I honestly feel like that was one of the best experiences of my high school career, and I'm so glad it happened. And in fact, senior year, I got in again because I liked it so much. And me and Kim here, we were in the play Mulan, and we were both the lead actors for that play. So it was a lot of fun.
I also went to Lamar Elementary. I think around 5th grade, I tried out this whole spelling bee thing, got 3rd place, moved on to the next round, but I didn't continue with that. It wasn't really my thing. So I got into Coakley, and I tried choir out my 6th grade year, and I found out that wasn't my thing either. And it's yeah, I was. Then in 7th grade, there was a modular technology, which was interesting, but I wanted to try other things. So at the end of my 7th grade year, this guy was already learning guitar, and he had learned a lot more than me. So I was like, I'm going to learn something else. So I started picking up the bass, and we had jazz band auditions at the end of the 7th grade year. So I got in, but they wanted me to learn to read notes. And I thought the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to get into orchestra. So, I got in there, and I've continued with that every year throughout high school here. And I've tried some other things. I took Intro to Media Tech here my freshman year. And I also did maybe 2 theater productions. But, other than that, it's a great experience. Some people, they don't want to take full advantage of what they're being offered here. Whenever I had a free period on my schedule, and I looked up and I said, hey, maybe I could get into something where I could start learning some stuff. Like this year I had, for the first semester, I had a class period free. So I decided to take what's called independent music study, which some people, they take these classes, they're independent studies, and they kind of slack off and just use it as a sleeping period. But I wanted to embrace that and just learn skills. So Mr. Hooper allowed me to rehearse a song with the ensemble and learn how to conduct. So I mean, we performed in the winter concert. I mean, that went just fine. And this past semester, I made an arrangement of a piece for the junior varsity ensemble, and I also took them through rehearsals. And we played a concert just last night, and I think it went pretty well.
Outstanding. Each of you not only excel in the classroom, but obviously a lot of your time is taken in other activities, which makes for a very well-rounded student. You mentioned, Kim, you mentioned about culture, and let's talk about that for a minute, because I think it's important. I'm not from the Rio Grande Valley. I'm from West Texas. I was in Dallas. I've been Central Texas. But one of the things that I believe in, and we will stress to our students as they go through Ben Milam, as they go through Stewart Places and Lamar and all these elementary schools that we have, that they live actually in a very strategic point, place, and time, and not to take that as a deficit, but to take it as a value add as the state of Texas changes. So tell us what it means being a part of or growing up in the Rio Grande Valley as you embark on your next stage. How will that have helped you with regards to having a tight-knit look at what your culture may be or how you move forward in the next 15, 20 years? So let's talk about that. Being a part of the Rio Grande Valley, what does that mean for you, and how do you use that as an advantage when you're in Palo Alto, California in 3 months?
Well, I've noticed firsthand that here in the Valley, they honestly just don't give us enough credit for who we are and what we can bring. And I use that as an opportunity to go outside of the Valley and prove that here in the Valley, we have students just as capable of doing better and doing greater things than kids anywhere else in the United States. And I strongly believe that.
Thanks for sharing.
Not only academically, but like, oh, sorry. Not only, what? Oh, okay, sorry. Not only academically, like Danny said, but also like athletic-wise. This year, I went to state for hurdles, and also my teammate from the Harlingen High campus went, and he placed really well. And you usually think people from the Valley, they get to regionals and they're all wiped out. But every year we keep improving, and we keep showing everyone in Texas that we can do it, and we can challenge everyone else. So.
Now, Zariah, you stated that the Cardinal did very well, but you didn't give yourself credit when you were 5th in the state. Is that But that's good. Thanks for sharing that as well.
I also want to add to kind of the athletic department. I play tennis here with Shane, and actually our team tennis season this year, we got to the regional finals, which I mean, people might say, you know, that's not state, but for team tennis, it's quite a big deal, and actually was the first time in history that a tennis team from South has made it that far. And if you could have just seen the people's faces from Reagan and Churchill looking, they don't give us credit like Danny was saying. They just think, you know, Harlingen South, oh, you know, easy first round victory. But I think our tennis team really proved this year that we're something to watch out for. So, yeah.
That's intimidating.
I got a little scared. It's like, you go, Ash. Go.
So anything else with regard to a message that you might want to say to we talked about teachers earlier, but a message to an adult or someone who's a positive role model for you that has put you in a situation where you realize you're here today because of a support group, but this is your opportunity to just give a shout out, for lack of a better word, to someone who you really say, you know what, we don't get a chance to say this often, but here's my gratitude to you. So is there any gratitude or shout out that you would like to give in particular?
I would love to call out to my mom. I know I'm with her all the time at home, and we're together all the time, but I recently haven't told her thank you. Oh my God, I think I'm gonna cry. Okay, next.
That's good, because I'll tell you what, students, as many of you embarking will be leaving in 3 or 4 months, nothing prepares you, trust me. I had a son who left 3.5 years ago to college, and I was not prepared. So that's an honest emotion that I think in 3 months you're not prepared for what you're about to embark on, which isn't a bad thing. It's just part of growing up. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. I'd like to thank my parents too. they've sacrificed so much of their time for me, and like you said, I don't think I've realized it yet because obviously I'm not crying, but
Just a little stronger than I am.
but I mean, I really do appreciate what they do for me, and I'm sure it'll show sometime, but not right now.
Yes. No. We'll check with you. When do you report to Texas, University of Texas?
Sometime in August.
Okay. We'll check with you in September.
We'll see you at graduation.
I would also like to thank my parents. You guys are like the strongest, most positive reinforcement anyone could ever have. Thank you for all the love and all the unconditional love, because I know sometimes I'm not the easiest person to love. So thank you for that. Thank you for staying with me. I know sometimes you guys don't make it to my games and any activities I have, but I know you guys are always there with me. Thank you so much, and also to the Filipino community, thank you. You guys are so awesome, and you guys really make everyone feel like family, so I hope you guys continue to do what you do, and thank you again, because you guys have just instilled in me always the desire, discipline, and determination to succeed, and that's exactly how I am the person I am, so thank you.
That's foolproof.
I guess.
Go ahead. Let Miss Texas go. Let Miss Team Texas go.
No, just definitely with everyone else. Not only my parents, but my entire family. They're behind me 110%, and I would definitely not be here without them. They constantly push me to succeed and to do my best, and I think I'm harder on myself sometimes than they are, but it's just because I know I want the best for not only me, but for my entire family. I want to make them proud, and just to let them know that I do love them, and I want to thank them because I know I don't do that enough, but I can't wait to further my life, and I know I wouldn't be here without them, so thank you. Take it away, Danny.
All right, well, of course, I like to thank my parents for all they do, but also I'd like to give credit to my basketball coaches, Coach Brian Molina and Coach Steve Lunsford. Both of those guys have been like parents to me when I'm not at home, because through basketball I spent so much time with them, and I've learned so many lessons and morals that have helped them, that they've helped me become the person I am today, and they're a big part of why I'm successful and I've done what I've done.
Like everyone else, I want to thank my parents, my mom and my dad, and my whole entire family. They have taught me to never give up, but not only do I want to thank them, but the Flores family has been like my grandparents. They're like a second family to me. Not only Jerry and Randy, but their kids, Ken and Jill. And Ken is someone I look up to more than anything. He has taught me that no matter what life throws at you, you need to get up and keep striving and prove everyone who told you something wrong. You need to just get out there and just be determined, and that is the one key value that has shaped me, and I know it's going to shape me when I'm down in law school or just anything the world throws at me. It's because of them and my parents that have instilled those values into me. So, Odie.
Me as well as everyone else, gotta thank my parents. Without them, who knows where I'd be. No, but I mean, they've just always been there for me. Everything I do, I have their support 110%. Also, my sister, she's 23 years old, graduated from UTPA, is working now. And with her having been through all this already, I know I always have someone I can go to talk to, you know, as a good source of information as to, like, what is this next chapter in my life going to be like. And I take it for granted sometimes, but I don't realize the full extent of how important that is to me. But big thanks to my sister.
I just want to finish. I promise I won't cry.
You want to say that?
As I said, my mom, she's always been there for me, especially at the track meet, my state track meet. She went up there before I started warming up, gave me a big hug, and she doesn't know, but that really meant a lot to me. And also my uncle, this past year hasn't been easy for me, but he's taught me that, like, you know, no matter how far, like, I haven't been hitting my best times, but he taught me you can always come back from where you've started. And I really like to thank him for, like, staying with me this whole year. So thank you, Uncle Harvey.
Yeah, of course, at first I'd like to thank my entire family. They've supported me in everything I've done. And sometimes that's not a good thing. If you want to be a singer, they'd be backing me up the whole time. But the good thing is I have a good career set in mind to be a psychologist and go to college. And so they've helped me a lot. And also my teachers, like, teachers, they're not always out to get you. It might look like that, but they really, they try to get, like, they know you have problems at home sometimes and you can't concentrate that well, but they find a way to adjust for you. And same as coaches. Coaches don't just want you to excel in sports, though it might look like it. They actually care about your future too. They give you really good advice. So thank you, coaches.
Go.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank my parents, my mom, for always being there for us. She didn't really care if I practiced when I was barely learning my instrument. I wasn't very good, but she'd take it. And she lived through it and not get annoyed, and I really appreciate that, because I mean, I'm around some people who say, like, you know what, your 30 minutes of practice are over, and you need to pack up. And I like to thank my dad for always supporting us, and just he always goes to my concerts, even though they're not his cup of tea, but I mean, he's always there. And I also like to thank my siblings, because they're a part of the group as long as with my parents. They always pushed us forward. They always wanted to show us that you can be, whatever you can be, as long as you keep working for it. And I think that's all I have to say. I don't want to take too much from Justin.
Well, all I hear from Mom is like, oh, that song again. But yeah, I definitely like to thank my family, because they've been there. I like to thank my mom for raising us, like, for a while, even though we were the family wasn't together. And my dad, who not once has ever said after one of my concerts that he wanted to shoot himself. And also my all right, let it settle. And my sister Ada, Ada Cuellar, who's a doctor at Valley Baptist. She works in the ER. She has shaped me into who I am today through the use of insults, bribery. I wouldn't say bribery. Incentives, and other things to make me more determined, to make me a harder worker, and making life a constant struggle to prove her wrong. So I'd like to thank Ada, even though she probably wouldn't see this. She's always so busy, and she has DirecTV.
And Nathan for teaching us about life.
Yeah, Nathan teaching us about life.
Now you'll receive a CD, so you can actually have it.
Fantastic.
Oh, the things that I can say.
So
I think that's all I have to say about that.
Well, yeah, I think that's every one of you talked about your support group, and I think that's a very, very telling sign that all of you have one. And I think that that's important for our students that don't have that, to find a support group, a positive support group. That is so great to hear. I mean, parents who could say, "Hey, why are you playing this? That's getting old." But instead, they listened, and then here you are today. So, with that being said, here's what I want before we close. I want you to have this time, without any question, just just what you think. I'd like to say this before this wraps up with the superintendent.
Well, I can say something. I know all of us here, like, we all have such a great support group, but I know there are kids that don't have that support group, and you shouldn't let that stop you from not succeeding. I know my mom growing up, her mom wasn't so big about education. She'd see my mom reading, and she'd be like, "Why are you reading? You're gonna hurt your eyes. You're gonna go blind." And she never really expected much from my mom, but my mom expected that out of herself, and she pushed herself, and she went from a small school in Brownsville, not with a lot of success around it, and she went and she got out of the valley. She went to UT. She graduated, got her business degree. And she became successful, and she pushed herself. And you don't need a support group, although it's very helpful to have one, but you don't need it to be successful.
Great point, great point. Anybody else like to share anything, any comment? Closing.
And just kind of back to where you started, how we, as the top 10 students, we have definitely bonded. There's no, like, we are together. Like we always talk. We're always the laughter, the times we shared. It's really awesome that we can say that the top 10 students really do get along, and besides school and besides everything else, like we're friends outside of it. And I love all of y'all guys, and I'm very proud of y'all. So congratulations, top 10 students.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
On that note, yeah, I just want to say, like, I feel really honored not just to be part of a billboard, but to be a part of, like, this group, because you guys, we really are the cream of the crop at Harlingen South. Like, looking at you guys, your faces, like we got it right. Like, you know, like these really are the people that deserve to be up here. So I'm really honored to be a part of this group, and congratulations to all of you guys, each and every one of us. Like, we really deserve it, and I'm really, really, really excited to see what's going to happen with us next year, because I know we're going to be doing some really, really awesome things. Cat live for you girls.
With that being said, unless
I just wanted to say something for parents and students. You know, it's always keep working hard and keep pushing yourself forward. If you have a decision to make between teachers, and some people may say, well, this teacher's going to give me a whole lot of work, but this other guy, I can get the same credits, but we can watch movies all the time. That choice shouldn't be a problem. Choose a harder teacher and challenge yourself, because that's the way you're going to become the most successful person you can be.
Oh, sorry. I'm probably stepping on some time here, but I like what Kim and what Danielle said. You know, thank all of you guys. You know, we're peers and we're friends first and foremost. No matter what, you know, badgering each other late at night, like night before assignments to do. Oh yeah. And yeah, you know, talking to Danielle because she's the one who always does her work on time. Yeah, and just like to remember like who your friends are and how you became, because really everyone that we know here has shaped us into who we are, and that experience is something that we really can't give up. And it's really unfortunate that a lot of people do end up forgetting who they were and who they've been with, and as soon as they leave here. And you know, it's something that we have to try to keep from doing. And you know, I believe in us. I don't think we're gonna forget each other. I'm done.
That's the reality of it. There could very well be a group hug, and like I started earlier, I started off with saying that there's a genuine concern and compassion for this group, amongst this group, that is very real, and I can see that it's very much a part of why you're successful today. I want to just close this time with you. As superintendent, what I always like to do is, one, get your perspective, because I think your perspective is one that helps us as we move forward, because what we want to be is the best district in the entire, not only state, but the nation, because it is something that maybe we don't get enough credit for. So with that being said, I want you, and I know that every one of you is going to be busy, and these are signs, so they go in that order. They go from Daniel, and then to Kim gets the second, and then all the way back this way. And then I think it starts this way. The book here is Tuesdays with Maury. And I know that you're saying, wait a minute, we're reading, we're graduating in 2 weeks. I'm not saying for you to read this in 2 weeks. I'm saying that just have it, because we talk about a support group. It's about a book that makes you realize not to take things for granted, because it is something that time, as you get busy, sometimes you say, I'm not going to call my mom. I'm not going to call my dad. I'm not going to do any of that yet. I'm busy. But sometimes you wake up and they're not there. And when they're not there, you've got to realize that you missed a golden opportunity. Tuesdays with Maury is a book that I think is required reading so that you don't lose sight of what it is that is important. So as busy as you become in the next 3 to 4 months, take the time to just peruse it and say, wait a minute, this has some salient point that I think will make me a better person down the road. And if you don't like the book, you can always email me and say, you know, I don't like it, and you can do that as well, because it's one of my favorite books. With that being said, I just want to close out today's conversation with Harlingen High School South's top 10 students. I think it tells at a time that public education is under fire, I think just listening and having this conversation today not only tells us that public education is in good hands, but the future of this country is in great hands with the students that we have here at Harlingen High School South. So I want to thank each and every one of you. I told you it would be about 40 minutes, and you said, oh man, that's going to be a long time, but as you can see, it flew by. Thank you all so much. Thank you. You bet.